Hey everybody, Languages Lover here and welcome to the final part of Step by Step to Fluency. In this final installment of the series, we're going to look at how to go from C1 to C2. Stay tuned, but first off, I want to remind you to subscribe to the channel for more awesome videos. Alright, so in terms of level, on the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, you'll reach a C2 level, which is the final level in your journey. A good indication to whether or not you're C2 would be if you have unlimited vocabulary. A C2 student knows all or near all words in his target language, even if some of these words don't have an exact English equivalent. For example, one of these words I actually came across during my studies would be the Romanian word dor, which means to miss someone or longing, but however it doesn't even have an exact English translation, so Romanian use it to represent that you actually miss someone. So, alright, now on to the next point. And you know what proves your knowledge of someone else's mother tongue? Knowing verb tenses that he doesn't even use it in his mother tongue, but it actually exists in that person's mother tongue. Because yes, some languages have tenses that aren't used when speaking. If you're able to use these tenses, it proves how much you know the language to unexpected extents. For example, in French we do have a past tense that we only use in literature and in written productions that we don't use when speaking. That tense is known as passé simple, which corresponds to the English simple past. However, when speaking in the past, we tend to use the passé composé instead, which corresponds to the English present perfect tense. So here's the verb avoir or to have in this rare tense. J'eus, tu, ils, elles ont eu, nous eûmes, vous eûtes, ils, elles eurent. Alright, so while we're on the subject, remember those rare verb tenses last time? Well, a C2 student obviously knows how to handle them perfectly. Here are examples in Russian on the imperfective and perfective verbs. So the first one we have Я это делаю сейчас and Я это не сделал. The difference is that the first one is an ongoing action, which Я это делаю сейчас. And since it's still incomplete, it requires the imperfective, whereas the second one is a felt action. A positive statement in the perfective usually refers to fully completed actions, but using it in the negative form means that originally you were expected to do it, but in the end, you didn't. Keep in mind now, these are just some of the uses of the perfective and imperfective. You obviously have to study hard in order to understand how these rare and hard verb tenses work. Next up, comprehension-wise, you understand fast. Whether it be in the written or spoken language. And now here's an example in Catalan. La llengua propia de Catalunya es el català, excepte a la Vall d'Aran on no és l'aranès. Tant el català com el castellà, llengua oficial de l'estat espanyol, són oficials en tot el territori. L'occità, denominat aranès a la Vall d'Aran, és també oficial a Catalunya. Generalment, els catalans són bilingües i parlen les dues llengües principals encara que difereixen respecte a l'idioma que tenen per llengua materna. Alright, folks? And now, what about tongue twisters? Now that you're an advanced speaker, you should have no fear to try some. When we just start with a language, we usually don't start with tongue twisters. But now, don't be afraid to try. For example, here's a tongue twister in Czech. Od poklopu ke poklopu ki klop kuli kuli. So let's do that again. Od poklopu ke poklopu ki klop kuli kuli. So wow, I did not expect to get that first try, but apparently I did, so leave a big thumbs up, guys. You're awesome. Alright, and you obviously know a lot of expressions. For example, the Dutch expression met de deur in huis vallen literally means to fall with the door into the house, but it actually means to get straight to the point. So just show you an example that to fall with the door into the house can mean to get straight to the point. So be careful with your expressions, guys. And you obviously need to have a good repertoire of expressions to have a very good level in your target language. So keep on learning, guys. Now, you're also able to distinguish different pairs. By pairs, I mean similar words or verbs that look similar, but their meanings is completely different. Similar to how phrasal verbs work in English, like to fill in is not the same as to fill out, so yep. And here are two examples of sentences in German using a similar verb. Ich mache das Radio an. So the verb over here is obviously anmachen versus ich mache das Radio aus. And the verb over here is ausmachen. So the difference is actually das Radio anmachen is to turn on the radio, while das Radio ausmachen is to turn off the radio. Alright. If your language uses a future subjunctive, you're able to use it perfectly. This is a must if you want to reach a C2 level. For example, here's an example in a language that actually has a future subjunctive, Portuguese. Se você comer muito, você vai engordar. That means if you eat a lot, you will get fatter. That means it's unsure whether or not you're going to eat more, so it's in the future action subjunctive, so that's why it's not se você come muito, it's se você comer muito. You have to use the future subjunctive here, so be careful. Alright, so while we're on the subject of the subjunctive, you also need to know how to use the imperfect subjunctive perfectly. You're able to express your past desires and doubts without struggling. So here's an example of past subjunctive in Italian. Supponevo che tu andassi a letto presto. So when you suppose something, it's not guaranteed. So supponevo, I suppose, is followed by the subjunctive in you were going to bed. So since it wasn't guaranteed, you needed to put to go in the subjunctive. So yeah. And the final challenge is, can you get a job in a language? You obviously need to try this challenge in order to see what you've accomplished during this journey. And now here's an example in Spanish. Buenos días, les envío el formulario que tienen que entregar para conseguir el trabajo. Solo contratamos a los mejores. Para conseguir el trabajo, tienen que completar el formulario que consiste en componer un texto de 1000 palabras sin faltas. Algunas semanas después, a few weeks later, enhorabuena, señor. Usted compuso un texto sin faltas. Para felicitarle, me gustaría entrevistarle. So apparently there was someone that actually got the job and did a text without any mistakes. So now they want to hire him for the job, or first do an interview with him and then hire him. That would be better. All right, so good job. You did it. You now have a proficient level in your target language, but please remember that it's still important to keep in mind that your required amount of time to reach a fluency will depend on your motivation, your time with the language, and the actual language you choose. Like, to reach fluency in Chinese, it's not the same amount as to reach fluency in Russian or in, I don't know, Romanian per se. So, yeah. Okay, but that's it for this video. But last but not least, I would like to give a shout out to Mentes Poliglotas. He's one of my friends on YouTube who wanted a shout out. So he also does languages videos. He mostly speaks Spanish in them, so you need to have a good comprehension of Spanish in order to watch his videos. But with the amount of people that speak Spanish in the world today, I don't think it's a problem. So I will leave a link, sorry, in the description. And if you would like me to give you a shout out to your channel, leave a comment in this video saying that you would like a shout out. I'll make sure to give you one in an upcoming video. But anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Subscribe for more awesome videos and share for more awesome videos as well. So see you guys later. Bye.